Engineer, akwa ba no pay.
Yeah, me Joseph, me know
Enti enya nwanwa say anase bia me na minim, but I'll be willing to learn. Say the asphalt ene gu eye cement so.
I mean, for Pinchia, Utio ne Kremofo almost started almost and then 14 days. You see, I do 14, Yamiadum Kakra, whether any is about you go so see. A bomb payama, more moon to mince common. Amude Benkuni, a 6 to 8 state or so share and a pay you will be a chairman.
Personal attack na.
So, Michelle Sunday recipe, and every day casa. Sunday, Saturday recipe now. Unya free na the yo recipe na me share. And your president is sweet baby. Me in view my was
Senior uncle.
okay. Bitumen and I say kind of asphalt. Any concrete or different properties.
Okay.
Concrete, a very rigid pavement. There's a pavement on home or when your customer say we are rigid, it doesn't breathe.
Okay.
Asphalt also the entire asphalt we are almost say do some time be not cracks be break about nine getting as the back of a crocodile or alligator. It's even alligator cracks. The reason being that we are asphalt now only asphalt for floor. Yeah, very big percentage of air voids.
Okay.
I was say we jam from maybe asphalt no. The car na fasu bia na se car no wait kana car na fasu bia home back. It mostly within 3.5 to 5% of the air voids which is actually entrapped in the asphalt. Now after say cars like I say in Kitoa faso ane oxidation taking place ensure to we are born na bitumen no losing the properties no. Homia do be na nimframa na yede aya ketwa or asphalt no. It's because it cannot breathe back no. Na activity cracks bebre or asphalt no so. Now these two materials no can be used together.
Okay.
You are right by saying say when who say we were only engineering kwano. When who say asphalt ni bitumen and bonded. But strangely enough, o share car kwan na o share Pokwas interchange, you share any other interchange biano. Yeah, the concrete na shas here. If we are near the asphalt, I then atoso ope. But asphalt and your chotofia be 1 foot be. The wider the asphalt on the bitumen, the higher the resistance. It doesn't peel.
Okay.
But maybe one pot will be another 2 be 0.5 of a meter, bear another 1 foot, the length of your feet. Or fitted that for me, bear 1 foot. Now, what the asphalt, see more. Because the asphalt has a tendency of breathing and peeling, it will not be able to stay within that small surface area.
Okay.
The other ones would be breathing, but because it's a very wide area, the intention supporting the back. What was like the let's say the immediate surrounding of the asphalt na company airport to motorway because it doesn't have any other resistance beyond it in the defense, or purely off now, nothing pushes it back into the hole because there's nothing to breathe back into it. So that at a measure now, government or the ministry is still using as a remedial, just a stopgap measure to just lengthen or just improve the riding quality and get some small safety to the road. Knowing say, come what may, if the bitumen go potholes no and those cracks no within a matter of 2 months or 1 month, depending on the nature of the exact application of load on that particular portion, it will peel off. It's like government should have a continuous routine maintenance as long as the major reconstruction of the motorway. Because what I know is that per document that I've debated on for the past 2 years now, we are talking in the region of about 570 million United States dollars to be able to reconstruct the Tetekwashi to Temamutu roundabout stretch of about 18 kilometer of the asphalt from the 2 lane, which is its current state, to about 5 or so lane. I think 4 average, if my memory set me right, from at least not less than 4 lanes for the reconstruction, if it should start anytime soon.
Opani, on the matter of the bonding,
Yes, sir.
layman thinking, support will be a developer a year motorway in your name, so a lot of it now is cementa. And the adding in the Nipano based on a year the science, you know. So, Ocha a quinimu, na obele a year, Nendadiano, a quinimu. Na instead, so the asphalt, the Bigusuanum, where concrete, no the Gusua, and fana.
Yeah, concrete, it needs a certain thickness to be able to withstand load. Also, say concrete is always weak in tension but strong in compression. Same way, say me go to baby iron rod now exposing now, which is barely 50 cm. That is ukuta o pencil I church here, uchi mbe miensa and me this normal big pen.
Yeah.
Uchi miensa one third of that. People should be able to understand the practicality. 1/3 of that is what might have been exposed on the motorway. The motorway thickness now say just slightly bigger than the size of the big pen in terms of the thickness.
Okay.
That small concrete that you put on the motorway, if you are supposed to even cut the whole stretch, the thickness, now all the cement for you need some days for it to be able to cure before you allow vehicular movement also. Now looking at the stretch of the motorway, and you look at say maybe one particular stretch, I say zigzag, hand left now crack it, right and bear once bear 1 meter no also crack it the next 3 meters. So if you want to do that application now, asphalt at 5 cm, the 1/3 of the big pen performs much better, far better than any concrete with that thickness. The asphalt has a very high performance ratio as compared to the concrete which should have been used. The concrete will crack in like let me say if the asphalt will peel off in about 2-3 months, depending on the thickness now, the concrete may not take even up to about 1 week to give way. So all the things they are doing, science based and among some engineering based, but just that we by this time, if the motorway had been reconstructed, and need this discussion because the motorway, as we all know, has overlived its use. The design life, and so at a certain stage in the design, the life, there will be exponential defect. Means that once a tail and our patchy, akora said DSS primary uniform what patchy china at the point also maybe an hour. So the motorway from 1965, I think in April or is it February, I think 1965 till now, I was say successive governments should have tackled this issue long ago. And the records we have say right from like 2013 or 14, over 11 years now, this debate on the motorway has been sustained, and we've had series of all the ministers who have come and are assuring you that it's in the pipeline. The next year is coming on. The motorway is gone. At this time, we are just at the mercy of the creator. But the last time I did a discussion on this on a certain station, I don't remember. What I did was that there was a certain let me see, an expert, researcher beer, or I'm going to develop or the chemical be Burkina Faso. I mean, it's a foreign, but the man resides in Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Give this information to the powers that be.
Okay.
So there's a chemical that could have been used to actually treat all the small holes on the between motorway. Nanka abanye ready in when they seal all those portals now, no for 5 cm now make one semi asphalt you wearing course and for 2 now so for now because we don't know when the money is going to come.
Okay.
But if to put that asphalt taking just that 1/3 of the big pen here 1/3 of it or 5 cm nanka you treat all this nanka the tuswa at least the motorists or residents who are actually planning that area no, would have not less than bare 3 to 4, 5 years of breathing space. So if government doesn't have the money to do it now, I am proposing through this medium that government know where the information is. If they are not ready for the next 3, 4 years, they can improve the riding quality of this road by engaging that person, that researcher who came with information for a better improved road, at least for some years, so that Ghanaians would have some breathing space on the using the motorway.
Opani, still, forgive my layman's ignorance.
Also.
Between a year bitumen and
Yes, sir.
concrete
Yeah,
as a stopgap measure,
yeah.
they are not boarding.
Oh, in looking at the chemical you use and the design lifespan, you see, we don't just take the cost just like, okay, and then me two 1 square meter of concrete and the 1 square meter of asphalt. If I do that now, I'm being injustice to the discussion. I'm looking at, say me apply 7 CDs. Let's say I'm using 70 Ghana cedis example, or let me say 100 Ghana cedis for a treatment of a concrete of that part. Now me use 120 Ghana cedis of the same in terms of the asphalt, because the asphalt, you know, I may be bringing if I say some 2 other machines to be able to do the compaction and things. So the cost of application might be slightly higher. But if I'm looking at the first, the 100 Ghana cedis, which is the concrete related, no, will give me just about a month to destroy. And then the asphalt, which is about maybe 120 Ghana cedi, will give me about a year and a half to be destroyed. I'm looking at time value for money. I always choose asphalt. I think asphalt might be the best for us.
The reason for the question of cost was this, and why I explain it at the moment. So I'm looking at the motorway. Me the real state of affairs, but Sefa knows. But the last time I used the motorway, I knew there was a particular stretcher between a space of about 100 to 200 meters. You know, say, oh, your driver outer issue road now. You know, say, on the outer lane, no, potholes I can see be honum.
Yeah.
You know, so it's 200 meters stretch. And so if I tell myself as an engineer, say, for that 200 meter stretch, I know, say, this one, there are lots and lots of potholes. And so, me try sa portion in egu. Number you sue a year, a friend is saying, concrete, Eddie, a fell back. The size of the thickness, no, would it not apply?
Yes, you mean that you'll be doing the whole thickness, which will be expensive than the asphalt. You know, in let me give you this small education because of your good listeners as well. In the category of roads that we do across the globe, most expensive road in terms of hierarchy is the concrete road. Obviously, it stays much longer than the rest. It's followed by the asphalt, or what we call the bituminous surface. Asphalt. This is the binder, the wearing, and the DBM, the binder, and the wearing. The wearing is actually the last one that is actually in contact with the direct wheels of the tires.
Okay.
And then the effect of sapity, me say, I think that we are not applying the sapity very well, because Oshe, the beer, my boss say Oshe from Aime Peduase, Udu people on soa from Peduase, Kankuko, Jankama, Ediko. Say Kitase, Edeko Ebri, Ekodu, Obosumase, Ahirase, Tutu. Ekodu Manfiran about that's almost like 19 kilometers. You know. Thank God I was actively involved. That was my first work after school. And that work was completed in 2006. Any asphalt, any bitumen.
Okay.
Sapity. But because of proper supervision of that road, proper supervision, and ensuring that we got the proper gravel for the work with the proper contractor, that road is almost like 17 years. Meanwhile, I brought from the surface sapity by almost 1 year, 5 years. I was said road needing. We're in the 17th year of the asphalt. Then I just also don't want to digress just about 30 seconds. That's why I shoot down government test. The test, the government test in trying to do asphalt overlays across the capital, across Asalam Down, across East Legon, across Christian Village areas. When in fact, the vehicles that use those roads, are never going to exert any load beyond the sapity. So that is one of it. So in terms of road now, the concrete is always expensive than the asphalt, and then the asphalt is also expensive than the sapite, and the sapite is always expensive than the normal what we call the road gathering and reshaping. Like you have with a lot of the feeder roads that goes to our farming communities.
Interesting. So, sisi ano, kosi, koda. Yeah, then because it looks like anyhow.
Yeah, but can you sustain more discussion? Yeah, almost all the media. In fact, we've not been successful yet. I get it, which is the sustained campaign against the Galamsey. So at least even though any too successful, no, you have sustained almost all the media have sustained. So can you actually sustain a discussion as part maybe in motorway? Because we divide the motorway into two now. Sustain the discussion on the motorway and then sustaining the discouragement of government in most of the things I've said, and I think some of the reporters have what I've quoted that needless asphalt overlays in the capital of Ghana and other regions because the cost of doing some of this, I use the word very adversely. I mean, I'm very emphatic on the word needless. Some of the needless asphalt overlay that is taking a political twist, not intended because of technicalities or reasons based by science or engineering. If all these monies are actually channeled now, I am sure that we may start to have some distance of the motorway being covered by the needless asphalt overlays we are doing within. You tell me, say, okay, asphalt overlay, East Legon. Ode akwa kofa Adabraka, afa Salam down. No, the above kofa Christian Village, Achimota Golf Course towards Gimpa Road. Are you kidding me? Have you ever seen, how many times do you see a trailer of about 30 tons using those roads? I'm giving a typical example of a surface dress road that Lord. In fact, the second house of government, the city of Lord, entrance, just at the entrance of the Peduasa Lord, through Kitasi, Jankama, Ibri, Ashirasi, Obosumati, Tutumampo, Abutachi, Amonoko Manfi, which has stood the test of time for 17 years. And you tell me, say, the way to go is asphalt overlays, needless asphalt overlays within some residents that connect to some of these big rigs, their homes, directing to their entrances of their homes. Are we serious in this country? Are we serious? So you have to sustain this discussion. You can make a jingle out of this and sustain this discussion. Say, we are having so much needless asphalt overlays being done in this country, and they are very, very expensive.
Engineer, me do say sana pe o jembe na me din komo.
And that was it, let me show you now.